You're locked into the only podcast for Maine high school basketball. The biggest names, past and present. It's Big Time Hoops, the podcast, right now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Big Time Hoops, the podcast, and keeping the big times rolling with another big timer. We got Brooke Obar. Obar or Oba? What do people call you down there? In Southern Maine, it might be Oba.
Yeah, a lot of the announcers, like during playoffs, will call it Oba, but it's Obar.
There we go. Representing Greeley and now representing Bentley, as evident from the shirt you're wearing tonight. So Bentley in the fall. Yeah. And just curious, what the summer's been like. I mean, there must be some uncertainty right now. Like, people don't really know what's going on. I mean, the season's on for right now, I would think, but got to be some uncertain times right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So they pushed back in the anytime. They pushed all games back to January 1st. So we just have to hear from the school itself, I'm pretty sure, for like what time, when practices will start. So pretty much just been doing a lot of workouts, like lifting and then basketball and stuff.
Yeah, getting them workouts in. Anyone who follows Ben Tier, seen you putting that work in. So I'm guessing it's been a busy summer for you just in that regard, right?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He really, today we trained today, and he asked 3 things that I wanted to work on, and then we just worked on that the entire time, which is awesome. Cool.
So we'll get to that towards the end in terms of what you're working on now, what you're working on to get better for college. But I want to go back to the beginning. So Greeley has been heavily represented as of late. We've had a bunch of Greeley folks on it for good reason. There's a lot of good basketball coming out of Greeley. So curious, what's your upbringing? Are you from Greeley? Actually, I don't even know. Greeley's not even the town, right? Greeley's just the name of the school, or
yeah, Cumberland is where Greeley is.
There we go. So Cumberland raised.
Yeah. So I live in North Yarmouth, which is right next door to Cumberland. But my mom actually was born and raised in Cumberland as well, and went to Greeley, and I've gone my entire life. So.
And was basketball just always in the household? Like, was your mom an athlete, dad an athlete? What was that like? When did basketball come into the picture for you?
Honestly, I can't even really remember. I feel like I've been playing it for such a long time, maybe first or second grade, but I'm not really sure.
Has it been a love from day one, or is it something that kind of grew on you as you played it more and more?
I think it became a love sooner than I might have expected, but it definitely took a little time for me to enjoy the game and really get a passion for it.
So what do you remember most from early on? Was it more just something to do with your friends? Was it something you were kind of forced into, or because I know for me, I started very young, and it's just because that's what everyone else was doing. But what got you into to start with?
Yeah, honestly, my mom had a really big passion for basketball, so she kind of got me into it. And then I also made one of my best friends, Anna DeWolf. And so I played with her for a really long time, and I just a bunch of my friends played, and then I guess I just stuck with it a little longer than some of the other ones.
So not everyone has the pleasure of having a best friend who's a future Miss Basketball and a standout in the A-10 doing things. What's it like growing up, just having that person be your best friend? Guessing you guys did everything together basketball-wise.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, so it had to. I'm guessing it had to have helped you from the beginning in terms of just being better and just pushing yourself, kind of being with her. So what's it like having someone that great next to you at such a young age?
It's honestly awesome. We're both we're really good friends on the court, and I think that, or off the court, we're really good friends as well. And I think that helps with us on the court, and just her ability of basketball, it really pushed me to want to be better and try and catch up to what she was doing. So I think that really helped.
So when I had her on the podcast, she mentioned how she liked the game. She went to games as a kid. She just followed basketball. She loved it. Were you the same way? Were you in high school games? Were you following a certain program? Did you have girls that you looked up to that you were oh man, I want to be like them when I get older?
Yeah. So I went to a lot of Greeley games and a lot of Macaulay games. Mm-hmm. So I watched Ashley Story, Jackie Story, and then Macaulay was Allie Clement, Sarah Clement, and all of them.
Just some really good basketball to watch right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Not some bad role models right there. when you were younger, were you just the type to be like, I can't wait to get to high school, I can't wait to put the uniform on, I can't wait to travel and play in gyms? Like, was that you growing up? Were you just excited
Yeah.
for high school
Yeah,
basketball?
I think almost every basketball player, their dream is to like put the varsity uniform on. And I didn't really think about like that it was a possibility for me to put it on freshman year until I was like in middle school, and I was like, maybe this could happen. But yeah.
What do you remember most about middle school? Growing up down there, you have the opportunity to be surrounded by a lot more talented players than maybe someone growing up in a small town in central Maine, northern Maine. How do you think that helped you grow as a basketball player, just being around? I mean, we could just name off all the girls you probably grew up playing against. Like, how does that help you? Like, how did that mold you coming into high school, just being surrounded and going up against so many talented girls at a young age?
Yeah, we played a bunch of really talented girls. We played a lot of like Granny Gloucester, who has a couple of really good seniors. Falmouth, who was always a really big competition for us. We actually played Camille Clement, who was playing up, and that was always like our biggest rival. And then just like as far as like the Greeley players, like Katie Fitzpatrick, Catherine Clancy used to play, but she doesn't play anymore. But we had like a really tight group in middle school, I would say.
So what were your realistic expectations coming into high school? Because we'll go back to Anna. She's like, I'm going to win 4 straight state championships. That's what I'm there to do. What were your goals? Like you mentioned, just wanted to make varsity as a freshman. Like, did you have any other realistic expectations, or was it pretty much I just want to make varsity and put on the uniform?
I definitely had like probably the same goals, Anna. I wanted to get 4 state championships. Like I wanted like to have a really good winning season and stuff like that, and then also like become close with my teammates was another big thing for me.
What was the biggest adjustment or the thing that kind of made you take a step back? Like, okay, I got my work cut out for me. High school basketball is different than what I was playing in middle school. Did you have a particular moment or a game or someone you went up against where you kind of just like, wow, I got some work. I got some work to do.
Yeah. Honestly, probably either my freshman year we played Gorham and South Portland, and those were 2 like really good games. I think we lost both of those, but like playing against Mackenzie Holmes and like I think at the time South Portland it was like Eva Mazer, Megan Graff, Maggie Whitmore, and they were all like really talented. So that was definitely the games that really stuck out to me.
And then you kind of met your goal freshman year, right? You had a goal coming in winning 4 straight state championships and you get one right off the bat, right?
Actually, we lost freshman year.
Okay, freshman year you lost. Okay, so what do you remember most from freshman year?
From freshman year, probably like this isn't like the best memory, but like the disappointment of like the other team getting to cut down the nets. But like it kind of just stuck with me. Like I don't want to get that feeling again. And like both Ann and I have said this like multiple times. We were like, we don't want that feeling ever again. So then sophomore and junior year, we kind of fixed that feeling.
Absolutely. So, I mean, the people that follow you on social media or follow Ben on social media, that we see the work you put in now. Like, was that you back then? Where you mentioned how the sting of that defeat your freshman year kind of fueled you, but were you attacking your off season and trying to get better as hard back then as you are doing now?
Yeah, so I started training with Ben maybe like a year and a half ago, 2 years. So I didn't really get to train with him that often, but I trained with a couple other people, a couple people from Blue Wave, and then someone from TGK, I think, who's no longer a part of it, I don't think anymore. And then just a lot of like training in the driveway with Anna and her dad, Frank DeWolf.
What is like some of the craziest things you guys did? Like, was there like a particular drill or just like something that people might look at you and be like, geez, it's a little rough. That's a little tough. Like, did you guys have something that just kind of separated you guys? Like, there must have been something you guys would do where your teammates like, all right, I'm good. You guys can go ahead and do that. Was there something you guys did just that was maybe a little crazy looking back on it?
Honestly, I can't really remember like any certain drills. I just remember like during the school year, Anna and I would get up at like 5:30, 6 a.m. like 3 times a week and go into the gym and just train for like 2 hours before school just to get the extra work in because we weren't able to do it after school with other stuff.
And then it paid off. So sophomore year, you get your first chip, right?
Yeah.
What do you remember most from that journey? What do you remember most from the first state championship?
Good question. It was our first state championship. Yeah. Honestly, I think just like running out onto the court right after the buzzer horned, and it was like everyone just like got in together in the center of the court and was just jumping, and like no one could wipe our smile off our face. It was just awesome.
You mentioned how much it stung to watch the other team cut down the nets when you guys lost freshman year. How much better is the feeling being able to cut down the net yourself after you win a state championship?
A lot better. Right. Yeah, a lot better for sure.
I can imagine. Were you nervous climbing the ladder? I've been asking this question to some of our state champs here because I never got the opportunity. I just know watching it on TV, being like, oh man, this person looks nervous. They look like they don't know what they're doing up there. What did you feel climbing the ladder? Were you confident? Did you know what you were supposed to do?
Climbing the ladder, honestly, I the only thought was don't fall off the ladder.
It seems to be the consensus from most folks, just not to fall and not to embarrass yourself. So.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you remember most in terms of the celebration after the state championship? Did you guys do anything crazy? Did the town throw you guys a little parade, little fire engine escort, anything like that?
Yeah, so the boys actually played right after us, so we waited for them, and they won my sophomore year as well. So we got on our 2 buses, and then the fire trucks and police and all that met us in Cumberland and just brought us around to the high school, and then we met at the high school and just had like a little gathering.
So you guys mentioned both the boys and girls won states that year. How much shit talking went on for bragging rights as to who was the better basketball team in the school that year? I mean, I'm guessing you guys were going back and forth, claiming to be the best team.
I don't know. I think we both had like pretty good relationships. Like the girls and boys team had a pretty good relationship, especially my sophomore year, because like Shane DeWolf and like Anna DeWolf, they were brother and sister, so that helped. But I would say we were pretty close with the boys team, so we were both pretty proud of each other.
So obviously it's a little bit different chasing a state championship versus defending it. What was the biggest difference having a target on your back? And did you prefer being the hunted or the hunter? Because I'm guessing it's different feelings having everyone come at you versus trying to go after people.
Yeah, I think even though teams probably like they were trying to go after us, I think we set the standard that we were still going to go after those teams as well. We kind of we celebrated it, and then we're like, all right, we need to move on and we need to focus on this year and try and like set our goals for this year and try and repeat what we did last year.
Do you remember any particular moments that stuck out as just being super difficult that year, whether it was a particular team or just trying to stay motivated, or what was the biggest challenge you think, just trying to go back to back?
Yeah. Well, my junior year, actually, I injured my ankle and I was out for 13 games. So that was like just me like sitting on the bench, like not being able to be like on the court with my teammates and like helping them with the success. That was probably the biggest thing. But I do remember playing Oxford Hills at Greeley. I was on the bench and it was like a 2-point game with like 5 seconds left, and they like got a shot up and like it didn't go in because we ended up winning, but it was like really close. Jules Colby actually shot it and it was really close. I just remember like looking up at the rim like, please no.
What's the toughest thing dealing with an injury, especially being out for that long? No one wants to miss any time, let alone 13 games. Of a junior year, trying to defend a state championship, what was the toughest thing for you in terms of just getting back and getting ready?
Yeah, I think it was like I think my biggest struggle was like not being back in time for like the tournament to like help my team and try and achieve our goal of winning the state championship. And obviously just like I loved being out on the court with the group of 5. It just was so much fun. I just enjoyed it so much.
So what was the biggest difference? The biggest difference in terms of feeling of a second state championship versus the first state championship?
Honestly, there wasn't much difference. It was like, yeah, wow, we did it again. Like, who would have thought that we could pull off 2 state championships in a row?
So you go back to back, and then you guys lose Anna. So that's going to mean a bigger role for you. What was the biggest adjustment this past year with her being gone, you having a bigger role, being more of a focal point of the team? What was the biggest adjustment that you had to make? Maybe the biggest challenge that came along with it?
I think the biggest adjustment would have been because Anna did a lot of our scoring, and we knew we could rely on her when we needed a bucket. She could break someone down and get in, or she could break someone down and pass to the open person. So I think my goal going into the season was trying to step into her role a little more and try and even if I wasn't able to get a wide open shot, if I could find someone else with that open shot just to get those points. I think that was my biggest goal heading into the season.
And obviously the results, it worked out pretty well. You were a finalist for Miss Basketball. So from an individual standpoint, did all right. Right. But going for a third straight state championship, that didn't happen this year. So what do you, it must still sting, but I'm guessing it's also fueling you again. Like any loss probably fuels you going into the off season. But how much did it hurt? I mean, you wanted to get 4, you got 2, and then weren't able to get it your senior year. What stings the most from this past year?
Probably just the fact that we weren't able to end our senior year the way we hoped with a loss. But I mean, everything happens for a reason. But we had a really good tournament until that game, and I think just Marshwood played extremely well. Their shots were falling. Some of ours were, and they outplayed us that game. I'm pretty sure.
All right. So you mentioned how you were chasing a championship coming into freshman year. By the time you graduated as a senior, you guys were kind of like the program in Class A. What's the biggest change you think culture-wise from when you came in as a freshman to where the program is now? I mean, you look at who's in the pipeline. You guys still have some players coming through, and they're still going to be very good. What's the biggest change or the biggest difference from day one when you stepped into the program to where it is now? What do you think changed, or has it changed? Has it always been what it is, or has there been a change in your 4 years?
I mean, I feel like we've always had pretty good culture, but I think within the past 2 or 3 years, we really we got together as a team, and we're we need to bond really close together, and we need to know what each other's thinking, on the court and off the court, and just be able to read what's going to happen next. And I think that really helped with just our team culture, and our team culture definitely helped with our games and our winning percentage and stuff.
So you guys play a pretty tough schedule. You play against a lot of good teams, a lot of good players down there. And to me, it seems like from the outside looking in, all you girls are friends, right? All you girls, for the most part, you all like each other. You guys all hang out. Yeah. What's it like when it comes time to actually play against each other? I mean, there must not be any bitterness. There must not be any anger. But I'm guessing you guys also want to rip each other's heads off and win, right? So I'm just curious what that dynamic's like.
Yeah, I think from the first whistle to the last whistle, it's kind of we're friends, but we're also opponents. So we battle each other just out of love and stuff like that.
And then not only do you play against good players, you play against great teams. I mean, you mentioned Oxford Hills was on your schedule. They're the defending 2-time state champs. Who were some of the other teams that stand out from your time looking back, and who you remember just battling? Which schools did you get all excited for when you saw them on the schedule?
Definitely Oxford Hills, South Portland, and Gregg and Gloucester. We always had a tough battle with them all through my 4 years of high school. They were just gritty and physical. Just
some really good basketball right there too. A lot of great programs, a lot of great players. Do you have a place that stands out that you love to play the most? Is there a particular school you love going into and just be yeah, I like this gym?
I would either say definitely Greeley. I loved Greeley. But I would also say South Portland. I just really enjoyed playing in that gym.
Okay. Any reason in particular? You just happen to play really well there, or is it the lighting? Is it the colors? What? I
think the atmosphere, just the game that we played, it was a boys-girls doubleheader, and the atmosphere was just crazy. You were able to really get into that game.
So obviously rocking the Bentley shirt right now. I'm going to Bentley here in the fall. What was the recruitment process like? How'd you narrow it down to Bentley? We know Bentley as being like where the guys from Maine go. That's where all the good play, all the good men, our boys basketball players go. They all wind up at Bentley. But now we're starting a little girls train as well with Colleen down there. You're going down there. What came down to the decision when you chose Bentley?
Honestly, I think I always knew it was going to be Bentley, just in the back of my head. Just because of like the relationships I built with the coaches and players. And then like I went on campus and visited like 3 times. Like the first time I was by myself and I was like, I could really see myself here. But I definitely gave other schools a chance but I think I always, like every time I was talking with my parents, everything went back to Bentley. So.
From a basketball standpoint, how do you think you fit in down there? What is it about the basketball program? Because, I mean, obviously campus and academics have a lot to do with it, but I'm guessing you want to go a place, too, where you can play, where you feel comfortable with the coaching staff and a place where you fit. So what is it about Bentley that just fits Brooke?
Their style of play is a lot like how I've just been raised to play with the Firecrackers and then kind of into Greeley, which is just like quick and like push the ball, like try not to dribble, you push with a pass and try and get transition points, which I really enjoy that style of play.
Okay. So you mentioned the Firecrackers, a lot of great players coming out of that program. So along with the Firecracker program and just the amount of talent in Southern Maine in terms of who you play against, how has this prepared you for D2 basketball? Like, you know, obviously going up against a lot of great players, just for those that may not be familiar with it, just how has Southern Maine, in terms of the competition you're exposed to, the players you play with, how has it prepared you to go and play at the D2 level?
I think the Firecracker program does a very good job of preparing you for the next level. And just like we go out of state almost like every tournament that we play out of state. So we get to play players from like Texas or something like that, which we aren't able to get in Maine. But I think the competition just in our practices is just insane. And like we all like go hard at each other, but then we know at the end of the day that we all have each other's backs and we'll help each other up off the floor and stuff like that.
Yeah, the list of players that have gone through that program is long, it's deep, it's talented, it's impressive, that's for sure. One thing I want to talk about real quick. So we mentioned we're a finalist for Miss Basketball, and that takes place at McDonald's All-Star Weekend here in Bangor. What do you remember most from that weekend? What kind of weekend is that for the folks that maybe have never attended the weekend or have been able to play in the game? What's that whole weekend like, and what do you remember most from McDonald's weekend?
It was an awesome experience. I loved going to the McDonald, the house, the Ronald McDonald house, and just getting like to see what kind of like community that's like. And then obviously like I was able to spend a lot of time with some of my like Firecracker teammates that I wasn't able to spend much time with during the season. And we got to play with each other like one last time on the court, which was awesome.
What type? When it comes to like all-star games, it tends to be like a more, you know, like relaxed atmosphere, people goofing around and stuff like that. What's your mentality? Are you like, guys, let's go? I'm not here to mess around. I want to play. Or are you just like kind of go with the flow, blend in? Like, what's your demeanor like when it comes to like an all-star game?
I definitely want to win, but like also just trying to be smart. Like, don't want to get injured and stuff like that. So I definitely have a competitive mindset going into it, but also like kind of a laid back, like don't injure yourself.
Did your team win?
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
A lot of talented girls. You know, there's a lot of talented girls. So I'm sure the other team was pretty good too. But also that weekend we talked about Miss Basketball. Did it hurt? I mean, it had to have been nice to be a finalist. I'm guessing that's something that everyone dreams about. But I'm guessing that, you know, you guys are all cool. You guys are all really good friends. So
yeah.
Did it hurt as bad as it might have hurt someone else, or were you okay with it?
No, I was okay with it. Jules definitely deserved that. She worked so hard all 4 years of our high school, and both me, Maggie, and Jules were all really close. We've actually played together since 4th grade. So
it's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like the Firecracker program is just stacked.
Yeah.
So going to Bentley here in the fall. Hopefully, you mentioned how the schedules change a little bit, but what are you getting better on between now and then? Obviously, working out hard, working out in the rain. For the people that saw that video, I think you were just on Ben's latest little whatever series he's calling it, the grind. Yeah, I think you were in there too. So, what are you getting better on between now and when you get to Bentley in the fall?
I think we're honestly working on like almost every aspect of my game, just trying to improve just a little on each aspect. But like today, my 3 like things that I wanted to work on was just like my quickness, like both defense and offense, just my foot speed. And then I've also been trying to really knock down the mid-range jump shot and just trying to like get by someone being able to stop on a dime and get that down.
Okay. And looks like you work out with your sister a lot. Do you just bully her around? Like, is she just there to kind of have someone for you to beat up on, or is she holding her own? Is she next up? Is she one of the folks that I should be featuring for We Got Next? Is she next in the pipeline at Greeley?
Yeah, she definitely holds her own. I think she's stronger than me.
Okay.
It pains me to admit it, but she definitely is. She's pretty strong. She's getting there for sure.
All right. You heard it first, right from here, right from the person who probably knows her best. So I want to play a game before we get up out of here, and I might get some more random things that pop in my head between now and the end, but this is the one thing I had planned. So we talked about the firecrackers, how you girls know each other, how you're all friends, how talented it is. So I'm just going to throw out some random questions, and I want you to tell me which one of your firecracker teammates would best fit this question here. So who's the most likely to go out and drop 40 on an opponent?
I would say oh goodness, I have 3 choices.
Okay.
I would say they're Jules Colby, Anna DeWolf, or Mackenzie Holmes.
What if it was 50? Because one of them get 50. Would that narrow it down to one?
Probably Anna.
Okay, here we go. If you were to get knocked down on the way to the hoop, let's say you're going up for a shot and someone knocked you down and it was a dirty play, who'd be the first teammate to have your back and like tell that person to back off?
Firecracker teammate?
Yeah, or it could be actually, we'll just go any teammate to include firecracker teammates.
Okay. If it was a Greeley teammate, it would be Julia Martell. And if it was a firecracker, probably Maggie.
Okay. All right. Who's most likely to say, I got this person? If there's if there's a person on the team just going off, just giving you guys buckets, who's the one who's most likely to step up and be like, I got him. I'll shut him down.
I'd say Faith Bluffman.
Okay. Who's the most competitive? I'm guessing you girls are all competitive, but there's got to be one that's a notch above everyone else.
Everyone hates to lose on that team. I'd say Anna again.
Okay. Who's the most likely to be up at 4:30 in the morning getting shots up after like a loss or just being angry? Who's like the most possessed one when it comes to working out and will be up early?
I think Mackenzie Holmes, only because I know she actually did get up during the season, her senior year, I think. She used to get up at like 4:30 in the morning and train.
There we go. All right.
Yeah.
You got the ball at the end of the game, and you can't take the last shot. You got to pass it to a teammate. You got to kick it out to someone to hit the game winner. Who you going to?
Either Anna or Jules.
Okay. What about you? What would you most likely to be? Like, I've given you all these most likely to do this, most likely to do that. If you had to pick one for yourself, you'd be the most likely to do what?
I feel like I wouldn't want to lose. That would be, or I'm most likely to go help one of my teammates up and have their back.
Good teammate, competitive. What about the defensive challenge? Are you the type to take on the defensive challenge if someone just lighting you guys up?
Yeah, I like to guard the other opposing team's best player.
Okay, there we go. Good answers right there. Good stuff. Before we get up out of here, what do you got for the people? Give them something to do, something to watch, something to listen to, a hobby to pick up. Like, what have you done during this whole COVID thing that maybe you weren't doing before that you recommend to people?
I've just been working out a lot. Let's see. Oh, I've been doing spin cycling for Jive right in Yarmouth. I love it.
There you go.
Yep.
And I had another question based off that, and I just lost it. Maybe it'll come back to me. Yeah. All right. So anything else before we get up out of here? I always give my guests a chance to say something before we leave. Is there anything you want to address? Any rumors you want to clear up? Is there anybody you want to start recruiting to bring the Bentley with you in the future here? Maybe someone else in Maine. Maybe, start that whole thing going.
Well, we actually have Amanda. She's committed to Bentley.
Yeah,
so looking forward to that for sure.
Yeah, Portland's going to be good next year, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to be really good.
How about that? How about give the people someone to look out for? I mean, Amanda, I don't think she's a known secret. I think it's known by now that she's quite good. But give the people someone else to look out for next year. Maybe like a team or a player to be on the lookout for.
A team, I would probably say either Falmouth or Kennebunk.
Okay.
And then a player, I'm going to have to go with a Grilly player. I'd either say my sister Molly or Chelsea.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Grilly for the team to watch for next year. I thought.
Well, yes, that's a given, but.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Brooke Obar on Big Time Hoops, the podcast. Thank you for Brooke for coming through. Hopefully things work out with everything in the fall. We wish you the best of luck at Bentley. Hopefully everything works out. And I'm guessing people could probably see you all summer long, just on the gram, working out with Ben, right? Is there any place, any other appearances you're making? Are you making any appearances at any camps, any tournaments, anything like that?
Well, Ben has the top 30 camp. I won't be able to play in that, but I'll be helping him out and trying to coach that, I think. I don't really know. Whatever he wants me to do.
I wanted to go so bad. I got to work this weekend, so I can't make it. And I wanted to go so bad, but I'm going to try to catch the boys one next week. So he's doing King of the Court this year, right? So King and Queen of the Court. Who's a dark horse pick for Queen of the Court? Who's like the best one-on-one player you think?
I don't know.
Just putting you on the spot right now.
There's so many different types of players. I would say like Sarah Talon is really creative with her one-on-one. Let's see, Camille's pretty good with her one-on-one skills as well. I don't know a lot of the players from the north, which is hard.
Yeah.
I just know a lot of the southern players.
That's all right. That's where most of the talent's at. And the two you just mentioned are probably some good choices right there. So we're going to find out if you're right, because this is going to come out after the weekend. It's going to come out on Monday. So
okay.
We'll know by then. When this comes out, we'll know who won. We'll know if you're right. So
yeah.
Once again, thank you for Brooke for coming through on Big Time Hoops, the podcast. Another Greeley alum and future Bentley superstar down there. So we wish you the best of luck. And make sure everyone's checking out all of our previous episodes on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. I think that's it. And that's all of them. So just make sure you check those out. And on Instagram. Lots of good stuff on Instagram, too. So check that out. We will see you next time with another Big Time episode of Big Time Hoops. See ya.